Hello and welcome to New Mexico Rising. My name is Mandy, and here on this show, every week we interview some awesome people from around the country to bring you lifestyle tips, tricks, and more. And this week we have this.
What it takes to be an ice road trucker is a whole lot of crazy and a lot of trucking skills and a lot of years behind the wheel. That's what it honestly takes.
All that and more on New Mexico Rising.
Half of women over 50 will break a bone because of osteoporosis, but most don't even realize that they're even at risk. With World Osteoporosis Day coming on October 20th, it's the perfect time to talk about bone health. Joining us are orthopedic surgeon Dr. Shannon Carpenter and patient advocate Laura Rink. Welcome to you both.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Dr. Carpenter, can you explain what osteoporosis is and who's most at risk?
Of course. First, I just want to start by thanking Amgen for partnering with us to bring this important message to your viewers. But osteoporosis is what we call a progressive condition, meaning it gets worse over time, that leads to loss of strength in your bones, which can lead to eventually fractures and loss of independence. This happens most frequently to women around the age of menopause when estrogen leaves our body. That hormone normally helps keep our bones strong. And people don't realize how common of a disease it actually is. It is responsible for more hospitalizations each year than breast cancer, heart disease, or stroke, but it's not talked about nearly as frequently as those diseases.
And Laura, what was it like getting your osteoporosis diagnosis, and how did it change how you look at your health?
Sure. So my journey started in 2022. And, it was basically a routine bone density scan that my doctor recommended for a woman of my age. I was in my 50s. Physically active, leading a healthy lifestyle. And so it was very much a routine sort of thing. And I was shocked when I got the results back. I had a T-score of negative 4.0. And you and your viewers may not understand what that means. I certainly did not understand what that meant at the time. So I asked my doctor and he said, well, that's a number that I would usually see in a 90-year-old woman, not a woman in her 50s. And trust me, no woman wants to hear that she looks, 40 years older than she is, even if it's on the inside. So that was when I got my osteoporosis diagnosis. And, at that time, I learned that this is a disease that is weakening my bones and it is putting me at risk of fracture. But I thought, what, I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to make some lifestyle changes. I'm going to reverse this disease. And I did everything in my own power for the next year to make that happen. Went back the following year, got my follow-up scan, and received the bad news that my bone density was still declining. And for me, it was a rapid progression, right? It went from 4.0 to negative 4.4. And that was alarming. I sat down with my doctor immediately, and we started talking about treatment options. We picked the treatment option best for me. And I started that part of my journey. The good news, though, is that 3 weeks ago, I had my most recent scan and I have my bone density has increased by 20%. So over the last year, I've done a lot to strengthen my own bones, and I am finally headed in the right direction on my journey.
That's some good news for sure. And Dr. Carpenter, once diagnosed, what can women do to keep their bones strong?
Yeah, I think if you've received a diagnosis of osteoporosis, the first thing to understand is that there's no shame in that diagnosis. It's not that you've done something wrong. And if you haven't had a diagnosis of osteoporosis, I would be sure that you get a test to be sure that you don't have osteoporosis. Get that DEXA scan. But if you do have a diagnosis of postmenopausal osteoporosis, while a healthy lifestyle, like Laura was discussing, physical activity, calcium and vitamin D are all super important and helpful, they're usually not sufficient to move the needle on that diagnosis and to help you prevent fractures. So I would recommend going to your doctor. I am an orthopedic surgeon who specializes in bone health. I'm not Laura's doctor, but I am a doctor who specializes in bone health. And if you go to your doctor, ask them if they know any treatments to help you prevent fractures and strengthen your bones. And if not, they can refer you to a specialist like myself or an endocrinologist or rheumatologist who can help connect you with those treatments to help prevent fractures. So Be proactive, ask for the scan, demand the scan if you haven't had one. If you have had one and have a diagnosis, just be sure you're getting the appropriate treatment to help prevent those fractures.
And Laura, what advice do you have for women who want to stay ahead of osteoporosis?
Sure. Thank you for that question. I've thought about it a lot in the last couple of years and the importance of being a good advocate for your own health. And I think that the good news is we as women have a very good analog to that, right? We do a great job with breast cancer screening. I think we generally know when it's time to ask for the mammogram. I think we do a good job supporting each other, making sure we are going to mammogram or even buddying up to do it together. We need to think about bone density scans the same way we do mammograms, that they are an essential tool with our well-being and our overall health. So I would say, don't wait until you have a broken bone to have this discussion with your doctor. Be proactive, ask for the scan, have those conversations. My own mother and grandmother had osteoporosis and they both broke a hip in their lifetime. And I watched them lose their mobility, their independence, and most importantly, their joy, because they weren't able to do all the things they wanted to do in life after those really tragic fractures. So be proactive. And I think my big rally cry is let's form a sisterhood around osteoporosis and help each other stay ahead of the disease.
And finally, where can people learn more about protecting their bones?
Great question. We have a wonderful website with lots of good information about osteoporosis. It's easy to remember, buildingyourbones.com.
Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Ever notice how fear of the unknown can hold us back, especially when it comes to our health? A new nationwide survey shows many women are scared to get screened for cancer, but most say genetic testing would actually give them peace of mind. So joining me today is OBGYN Dr. Ifeyinwa Stitt and Jodi Lavery, who carries a hereditary cancer risk and is taking control of her health through genetic testing. Welcome to the show, you two. How are you?
Good morning.
Wonderful.
Thank you for having us.
All right. The survey shows 80% of women fear screenings, but most would actually feel reassured by the results. Why do you think there's such a disconnect?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's not a single day that I see a patient who I recommend to get screening, even just the mammogram. They're like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. And, many women, I order their mammograms and year after year, they, kind of put it on the back burner. I think part of the disconnect is that women are simply just so busy. They're often taking care of children, sometimes elderly, family members. They are also very involved in their jobs, very involved in their communities. So their health goes on the back burner. And also just the delicate balance that women are trying to maintain on a regular basis, the multiple balls that are being juggled all at the same time. Any one extra little piece to destroy that balance can be very daunting. But I try to encourage my patients. I say, hey, if you have a strong family history of cancer, it's there regardless of whether you acknowledge it or not. But maybe together, knowing that family history, we can determine if there is a game plan that we can come up for you that will allow us to help you keep those balls juggling and not destroy that balance that you're so, that most women are so concerned about destroying.
And Jodi, you have a family history of cancer. What led you to pursue genetic testing, and how has it changed your outlook?
So my mom had breast cancer, my grandfather had male breast cancer, and my great-grandmother had breast cancer. So I knew I had a long line of breast cancer in my family, and I knew that I was at risk. In speaking with my provider, I found one I was in my 40s, but I found one that actually listened to my history and recommended the MyRisk hereditary cancer screening test. And although it was scary, like the results say, the results are empowering. I was able to take my positive result for the BRCA2 mutation and make decisions in my own healthcare. I was able to decide to have my ovaries removed, to have a bilateral mastectomy, had my daughter tested, who also tested positive for the mutation. She took a different route. She is doing advanced screenings because she doesn't have a family yet. And, she wants to pursue that first. So she does advanced screenings to make sure that she's healthy. But again, it's the knowledge to have the power to make choices for yourself and what's best for you. And that was what was important for me.
So how does combining family health history with genetic testing give women more control over their health, Dr. Stitt?
I think of it as an additional vital sign. You know, when you go to the doctor, you get your blood pressure checked, your weight checked, your heart rate, your temperature. We use all of those pieces of information to kind of give a general picture of what your actual general health is. This is just another piece of the pie. It's another part of another tool that we utilize to help us gain clinical insight into what's going on with our patients. As we are now in October and heading into the fall and all of the holiday seasons, opportunities for many people to get together with their family members, perfect opportunity to update a family history and making sure we're getting the most accurate and up-to-date information. Example in Jodi's case, one of the things, there are a couple of red flags that we have as clinicians that we're looking for that say, hey, maybe this might be a person who's at risk for hereditary cancer. Jodi had multiple family members with breast cancer on the same side of the family. She also had, a family member with a rare cancer. Rare cancers are things like pancreatic cancer, ovarian cancer, and in Jodi's case, male breast cancer. Her grandfather had breast cancer. That's not something that we often hear about. And also younger people with cancer, people under the age of 50 developing cancer. That information, those are all red flags that you present to your healthcare provider. And that we put together along with all the additional information. You might be a candidate for hereditary cancer screening. MyRisk hereditary cancer test with risk score is the leader in genetic testing. They've been around since the 1990s. It's not a new test. It's been around for a very long time, and it's been continually gets updated based on additional information that we have. And it's what we call clinically actionable. We give you information that you can actually do something with. So having that information allows your doctor to create a personalized and individualized care plan for you that you can actually do something about.
And for women who may still be hesitant, where's a good first step to start that conversation with their doctor?
Again, like Dr. Stitt said, get your family history and present that to your doctor and talk about genetic testing. Ask about it. And like I said, it's a simple blood test or a mouth swab. And again, it can be scary, but once you get the results, you'll feel better because you'll be able to make decisions for your healthcare and be able to take control.
And finally, Dr. Stitt, where can we go for more information or maybe even learn more?
Oh, yes. I would recommend all your viewers, please go to getmyrisk.com, getmyrisk.com, get more information, be your own advocate, and make sure that you are in charge of your healthcare journey.
Hey, I want to thank you too for joining me this morning.
Thank you so much for having us.
The high cost of medicine is a big problem for families. A new survey found 1 in 5 adults skip filling a prescription because of the price. But patients have more power than they realize when it comes to saving money. Here to share some tips is pharmacist and senior vice president at CVS Caremark, Joshua Friedel. Hi, Joshua.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Prescription drug costs are going up. How can people handle this without hurting their health?
Yeah, it's good to understand the price of our medications, and that starts with where the makers of those medications set that price. But for an individual patient, the most powerful step they can take first is understanding their prescription drug benefit. And what I mean by that is understanding what's covered by your plan, but more importantly, what's covered at those lower cost copay tiers, things like generic drugs and preferred brands. For most healthcare conditions, there are probably multiple lower cost options to help provide safe and effective treatment for that condition. So understanding what those are and then being able to have that conversation with your doctor, really powerful step for patients to take.
And what are the key steps to get the most out of our benefits?
Yeah, first is understanding those options. So talking with your pharmacist or using online tools from your pharmacy benefit manager or health insurance provider can help you see, if you're on a medication for, let's say, high blood pressure, those can help show you what other medications are available for that same condition, but also maybe lower cost. Then you can have that conversation with your doctor. Simply asking that question, could one of these be right for me, is a great question to have, because if it is, that means you can take care of your condition and lower your costs. Outside of the medicine, also look for other ways to save and make healthcare more convenient. That might be in the form of using home delivery or mail service pharmacy. Oftentimes, patients save a copay and they can have the medication delivered to their door. So 2 just simple steps you can look into within your prescription drug benefit to find ways to save and make it more convenient for you.
And some people skip doses or they don't fill prescriptions. Why is it important to stick to the treatment?
Yeah, it's so important to stay, consistent or adherent with your medication as prescribed by your doctor. Skipping a few steps early on today could really lead to more complications in healthcare in the future. So again, if you're treating high blood pressure, simple treatment today, but can become a lot more complicated in the future if it's not managed well. So staying on track really helps us not only be healthier today, but tomorrow, which also means we'll have less cost in our healthcare system and for ourselves in the future as well.
And how can people find help, like experts, resources, or support groups?
Yeah, you've got great resources in your community in the form of the pharmacists and the pharmacy staff at your local pharmacies, your physician and the staff at their offices, but also your health insurance provider, your pharmacy benefit manager. There's both folks to help you better understand your prescription benefit, but also help you better understand healthcare and the medicines in general. So 2 great places to go to do that, but really have those conversations, and they can lead you to other resources that can really be tailored to what your specific needs are.
And finally, where can viewers go for more information?
Yeah, one of those sites is cvshealth.com. A lot of great information there on the healthcare system, but also use the resources of your local pharmacy, their website, the website of your health insurance provider or pharmacy benefit manager. Great places to, again, learn about your benefit, but also learn about healthcare in general and ways for you to save.
Joshua, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Ever wonder what it takes to drive a massive truck across a sheet of ice? Knowing one wrong move could mean disaster. The hit History Channel series Ice Road Truckers has returned with its most intense season yet. Higher stakes, deadlier conditions, and shorter windows to deliver life-saving supplies to some of the most remote communities on Earth. Joining me is a fan favorite and veteran trucker, Todd Dewey, who's back behind the wheel for season 12. Welcome to the show, Todd. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm actually standing on solid ground right now, so I'm feeling pretty confident.
All right, there you go. For those of us, or for those out there who haven't seen it, what do you think makes ice road trucking such a dangerous and vital job?
Oh my gosh. Well, you hit it all when you explained it right off the get-go and letting them know who you were going to be talking to. It starts out from day one and it don't stop until the season's actually over with and you're on a plane flying home. I mean, what it takes to be an ice road trucker is a whole lot of crazy and a lot of trucking skills and a lot of years behind the wheel. That's what it honestly takes. And, we go up there and fight Mother Nature like nobody's business, from snowstorms to thin ice to losing your loads to truck breakdowns and there's some things that happen this season. I know that we've had lots of other seasons and lots of things have happened, but I don't know why or for what reason, but things happen on this season that have never happened before. We had trailers going losing oversized loads. Some of the worst weather conditions I think we've ever been faced with up there, including very thin ice due to climate change, and a very short window to get a lot of loads in these communities. And what people don't understand is they're like, well, you're just driving down the road and just delivering a load. It's not like that. It's what we got to go through to get these loads into the community. Some people say, well, why is it worth it? Why do you want to go out there and risk your life and just to drive on an ice road and drive across the ice? Well, I tell you what, when you battle Mother Nature the way we got to battle it, and you get that load into the community, and these communities come out, and it's like Christmas time to them, and the little kids come up and they give you a hug, and they're so excited to be getting their new bike, maybe that's in their load of supplies, or their food that they need for the remainder of the year after the ice roads, when they all melt and they go away, that's the only access they have to get these supplies. So when I stop and think of my kids or my granddaughters going without food or supplies that they need to live throughout a year, that's how important it is. And they show their appreciation when you show up there, and it makes it all worthwhile.
And you face some brutal hauls. What's the toughest one that sticks with you?
Oh my gosh, there's been so many over the hauls. I can't give any away this year. You're going to have to put your seatbelt on and buckle up and watch a show and go for a crazy ride of this. But there's been so many times that I think I broke a couple records over the years for some of the heaviest hauls on the ice. And there's been a lot of situations. There's been a lot of scary moments. Let's put it that way.
And season 12, it marks really a big return after a long hiatus. What's it been like getting back on the ice kind of this time around?
Oh, I was nervous. I'm not going to lie to you. I after having 8 years off and and spending and doing a little family time and doing some graduations with my daughters and getting my new grandbabies and doing all that. And then getting the call to go back up after 8 years of not being on the ice, I was nervous. I'm not going to sit here and BS you. I was like, oh my gosh, because then you get flooded with all those emotions of knowing what's about to happen, how thin the ice can get, Mother Nature, the snowstorms you're going to get yourself into. Am I going to be able to get these loads? And do I still have what it takes to be an ice road trucker? And so the first couple of 2-3 runs up there, I was nervous like nobody's business, thinking, oh my, because it just flooded me with emotions. The second I hit that first ice road, I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I'm here and doing this again. So it was quite the adventure, and this is definitely one season you are not going to want to miss.
And this season, we're seeing some veterans and rookies out there. How do the new drivers handle the pressure compared to some of the seasoned pros like you?
I don't know. I've been with a couple new seasoned drivers that have been up there over the years of ice road trucking, and of course, I don't ever leave a driver behind. If I'm with somebody and they're new and they don't know, they're in a situation where they don't know what to do or how to get out of it or how to fix their truck, I'm not going to leave them. I'm going to stay there and help them until we get everybody safe and we're back up and rolling and get out of Mother Nature's elements and get back to rolling. But as far as the new guys this year, I didn't get a lot of trucking time with them. I know that they were nervous. I did talk to them on the side a little bit. And when we were back in getting loads, they're like, oh my gosh, this is not what I expected. I didn't think the roads were going to be this brutal. I didn't think Mother Nature was going to be this brutal. And it's like, I asked them the question, well, what do you think about coming back for another season? If the Muskie Creek asks you to come back and be another driver again this next year, they're like, oh man, I'm going to have to think about it, because it's that brutal. I mean, these road conditions put you through things you never think your body or physically and emotionally that you'd ever be put through. It's pretty amazing.
And beyond the danger and the paychecks, what's the real reward that's keeping you back hitting the road over and over again?
Getting those loads to the communities, those hugs and those hot plate of food after battling and putting your body and getting those loads in the community from Mother Nature and battling those ice roads. When you see the smiles on those families' faces and the way they came up and they give you a hug, and it's not just like a hug like, oh, no, it's a hug like you can tell the appreciation in it. And they kiss you on the cheek or whatever they do, and they just look at you in the eyes and say, thank you. We needed this. That's what being an ice road trucker is about, and that's why I love doing it so much.
Do the words global warming scare you?
Oh, absolutely. It scares me because of the fact of it almost feels like there's going to come a time to where those communities can't get their supplies that they need to survive and take care of their families, and that is definitely very scary.
Todd, I want to thank you for joining me today. You can watch Todd and the rest of the Fearless crew now on Ice Road Trucker Season 12, airing Wednesday nights on History Channel and streaming the next day at history.com/Ice Road Truckers. Hey, Todd, thanks for joining me today.
You betcha. Hey, stay safe out there and buckle up for the first episode. You're going to need it.
Did you know you could save thousands just by upgrading your home's energy systems? Right now, families can claim federal tax credits worth up to $3,200, but those savings won't last. With us today is Sarah Riley, Senior Director at Frontdoor Incorporated, to explain how these credits work and why protecting your home after the upgrades is just as important. Hi, Sarah.
Hi there. Thanks for having me today.
What should families do now if they want to get these federal HVAC tax credits before they run out?
The most important thing to remember with these federal tax credits is they expire at the end of this year. So that deadline is fast approaching. The tax credits are designed all in the name of home energy efficiency. So take stock. If you are a homeowner, think about what upgrades you might make to your home now, again, to make that more energy efficient and qualify for these tax credits. An HVAC upgrade is one of the best projects that you can undertake. And to make sure that you do qualify with that HVAC upgrade, you can purchase that unit and have it installed all by the end of this year. And American Home Shield is here to help. So our American Home Shield warranty members have access to our new HVAC program. This allows our members discounts on new name brand heating and air conditioning systems, all of that higher efficiency that can qualify you for these tax credits. Now, replacing your HVAC system, that's a big project. Oftentimes we see price tags anywhere from $10,000 to $12,000, sometimes even more, depending on the size of your home. But because because AHS is one of the leading providers in the nation, and we have a broad scale, we have access to discounts that we can pass on to our members, saving them thousands of dollars on this big HVAC upgrade job. So now is the time to act if you're a homeowner to get into that HVAC upgrade, to make sure that you qualify for those federal tax credits and can take advantage with the AHS new HVAC program.
All right. How can people tell when it's okay to do their own project versus when to call a pro?
Everyone's threshold is different when it comes to DIY, and that can even change with the season of life, right? But especially when you think about your HVAC systems, there's a couple of flags that are helpful to look out for to then call in for professional help. The first is if you're hearing noises, if there is a buzzing, a clicking, a beeping that will not stop, maybe you've already tinkered with it and that noise is continuing on and on and on. That could be a signal that there's an underlying issue with your system and unit, and a professional can help to diagnose that. The other thing to keep in mind with your HVAC systems is smell. So as they're running, if you in your home are smelling anything burning or any of that electrical smell, those could be indicators as well of wiring issues or, again, underlying problems with those systems that a professional is really best equipped to come out and diagnose.
And can you explain the video chat feature and how it helps homeowners get quick answers?
Absolutely. With American Home Shield Warranty, we've launched an innovation this year we're extremely proud of, and that is video chat with an expert through the AHS app. So today, select members can download the AHS app and very easily click to connect with an expert live over video chat. And these experts have an average of 20 years of experience in their fields. They span across HVAC, appliance technicians, plumbers, electricians, even handy persons, depending on what your question might be around your home. And then live over this video chat, this expert can help you, the homeowner, navigate your questions about home repairs and maintenance needs, and they can even guide you through the fix in real time. So often what we see is that expert giving the homeowner additional confidence and just more information and context to be able to go about that fix. And often we see that the repair can be done just right over the phone in real time.
And why is having a home warranty a smart idea as things age in the house?
Yeah, we talked about the tax credits a little bit earlier. Unfortunately, things like those tax credits and rebates are not always available. So it is important to think about a home warranty and how it can help protect your budget in your home, because costly repairs, unfortunately, do come up when you least expect it. So if you don't know when your appliances or home systems were purchased or built, now is the time to research a home warranty. It is a yearly protection plan that helps to cover the cost of repairs to your home systems and appliances when they break down due to normal wear and tear. So again, it is really just adding peace of mind to homeowners and some of that budget protection so that those breakdowns due to normal wear and tear might be covered by this home warranty.
And where can families go to find out more?
You can always learn more about home warranties, your coverage options, our new HVAC program, and the AHS app with video chat, all through our website. That's ahs.com.
Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in and checking out New Mexico Rising. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at New Mexico Rising. That was our show, New Mexico Rising. You take care, and we'll see you next week.